Now helping you protect yourself and your family. There has been a string of fires in our area in just the last 2.5 weeks. In fact, right now, crews are battling a fire at a restaurant on the north side near the zoo. These pictures just into our newsroom. This is Junior's Seafood. This photo's from Quinn Williams. We do have a crew on the scene, and we'll have more live reports from them coming up in just a minute. We've also seen 3 other deadly fires since the start of this year. And last night, a 78-year-old grandmother, she died inside a home on West 21st Street. This is the night before last in Northwest Jacksonville. A 4- and 2-year-old are on ventilators this morning from the injuries that they received. Bless their heart, from smoke inhalation. And then last Thursday, 2 people died. Another is injured when a house caught fire. This was on the west side. And then a woman died on New Year's Day in a home on West Virginia Avenue. That fire broke out shortly before 8 a.m. Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Chief Keith Powers is joining us now live via Zoom this morning. Chief, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So these fires are under investigation, as we know, the 3 that I just mentioned. We don't know what caused them yet, but certainly an important time to remind people about safety. You said something yesterday about burglar bars that has some of our viewers asking us questions, so I wanted to start there if you don't mind. You said if someone has burglar bars, they need to have a tumbler so that they can escape if needed. Could you explain what that is? And we also have a picture to help kind of walk our viewers through it.
Yeah, so there's 2 kind of deadbolt locks that can be used. There's the one that has the key on each side, and then there's the one that has a key on the outside and then a tumbler, or what you're showing on your screen now, on the inside. And that's what we recommend that folks use, is the tumbler style lock. Because if there's a fire and you're trying to get out, if you don't bring your key, or what you're showing on your screen now, on the inside, and that's what we recommend that folks use, is the tumbler style lock. Because if there's a fire and you're trying to get out, if you don't bring your keys to the door and there's no visibility, when a house is on fire, you can't find the spot to put your key into and turn it. And we've had numerous fires. I remember a fire back in the late 90s that I went to on Mackinac Street, that the lady was at the door with a key in her hand and just could not get out because she couldn't get the lock.
Yeah, and so this makes it easier because it's just sort of muscle memory. You know how to unlock it. And those are easy to find at most hardware stores, right?
Yes, ma'am. You could get it at any of your local home improvement stores.
So we bring this up because the fire on Tuesday night on West 21st Street had burglar bars specifically on the door at the home where this grandmother died. Do those slow firefighters down in terms of trying to get in?
We train for that so much, especially in areas of town that have a lot of burglar bars. And all of our apparatus, our ladders and our engines, they all carry air chisels and that are already connected to air bottles. And when they're pulling up and they see burglar bars on the house, they automatically get off and grab that and take it with them to the front door. And it's a matter of seconds that it takes them to use the air chisel to cut those burglar bars off and get inside. The crews that went to the fire that you were talking about on 21st Street the other night, they did a phenomenal job. I mean, they were on scene in a minute and a half, and within 3 minutes, they had off and get inside. The crews that went to the fire that you were talking about on 21st Street the other night, they did a phenomenal job. I mean, they were on scene in a minute and a half, and within 3 minutes, they had those folks out of the building. And that just says a lot about their training and how hard they work for the community.
Yeah. For sure. Another something that we see all the time, our space heaters are used by people to keep warm. We saw that it was a faulty space heater, in fact, up in the Northeast, that caused a terrible fire in Philadelphia that killed several people. What is your message to our viewers? Because we've got another cold front coming, late Sunday and into Monday, about space heaters.
Yeah, if they're using them, to need to keep them at least 6 feet away, from combustible materials. We don't want them going, getting close to stuff where they can be out of the room and it catches fire. And, next thing you know, we've got another catastrophe on our hands. But the other thing that we suggest is you don't use that space heater while you're asleep, because if something goes wrong, you're asleep, obviously the fire can, get out of hand, or the smoke can overcome you before you even wake up.
And I want to very quickly mention also about smoke detectors. You and I have had this conversation many times before on the air, and we know that smoke detectors were an issue up in the Northeast with one of the deadly fires. In fact, that they were working when they were checked by inspectors, but then they were not working when the building caught on fire and several people died. And the reality is a lot of people kind of disable the smoke detectors because they get tired of hearing the beeping if they're working in the kitchen, and that is very dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. Those smoke detectors are what saves your life in the middle of the night when you're asleep, or alerts you to a fire in another area of your home when you're maybe in the back of your home and there's a fire in the front of your home, and allows you those precious seconds to get outside. So, the mayor has a home smoke detector program that provides free smoke detectors to anyone that calls 630-CITY. And I encourage anyone that needs a smoke detector to call that number and get on a list, and we'll come out and install a smoke detector for free, because smoke detectors save lives.
And we are running out of time, Chief, but I've got to ask you, since we've got you on the air, have you heard anything about Junior Seafood, the fire up there? Any update at all?
I have not, other than it went second alarm, and we've got about 30 pieces of apparatus on the scene now. It looks like, from what I'm seeing from your video, that they're getting the fire under control now, and things should start wrapping up shortly.
No injuries that you've heard of?
Not heard of any injuries.
Chief, thanks so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.